In the country where social security is not very good, where people are not very aware about insurance, especially health insurance, to save for a day when you have to pay a high medical bill, uh, was it not a good idea for the government to nudge people into these devices? Or is it that you decided to be less paternalistic going forward? You leave the people to their devices?
I not only do we feel that people should make their own choices, we also feel that the products have to improve to the point where people think they should take these products, and the products should sell themselves on their merits rather than on saying, look, if you do this, you can reduce your tax deduction for March, which is what is happening. So, but again, the choice is open. If you think they give you value, please stay in the old system. But we want insurance and savings products to be sold on the merits of those products. And also, there's a lot of inter-product variation in the tax system, which induces you to do this but not that, that but not this. That, I think, gives a privilege to certain kinds of savings, certain kinds of deductions, certain kinds of insurance, but not other kinds of insurance. It's the general feeling is this is something where we should leave citizens to make their choices, and those who are producing these products need to be able to sell them on their merits and not because they have a tax deduction.
Absolutely. I think that's a point very well taken, because insurance companies were, in a way, enjoying the benefits from the tax reductions, and they didn't have to go out and sell.
And incidentally, there is no tax effect on any term insurance of any value, regardless of the amount. So term insurance is completely unaffected by these changes.
You're saying there's an incentive for insurance companies to design good products. They already have good products in the market. But if you look at the reactions from the insurance companies in the last 1 week, there's a lot of complaint. And
obviously, I mean, if you can sell tax-free products to the rich, giving, let's say, a 7% yield tax-free through an alleged insurance policy, then obviously when we change the tax provisions, the attractiveness of that 7% tax-free becoming taxable is going to be different. So it may affect the insurance companies. But our statistics show that the number of people in this bracket are minuscule. Absolutely minuscule. We have the figure for one of the public sector insurers, and I think the percentage is less than 0.2% of policy holders have aggregate policies paying premium more than 5 lakhs a year. So 99% of policy holders are unaffected. The one company for which we have full information. So if that's the level of people that we are affecting, then I think that's fair in a country where we do need to increase our tax to GDP ratio. I mean, we cannot provide healthcare through health insurance. This country needs the public healthcare system to expand. It can't happen without more tax revenue. It cannot happen on the back of health insurance alone. In fact, health insurance is not the primary method by which we'll have to provide healthcare to the millions of people in this country. It will have to be through the public healthcare system. That needs tax revenue. So health is a complex subject. We do need tax revenues, and deductions that go predominantly to the well-off are what we have tried to amend.
I'm so glad you said that that the better alternative is to build public health infrastructure. Yes. But going by some of the moves in the last few years, especially PM Ayushman Bharat, where the focus is on giving insurance and telling the insured, you go get your treatment wherever you want to.
Ayushman Bharat has not come at the expense of any of the public healthcare systems. It has not meant any alteration in the National Health Mission, any alteration in the scheme to construct new medical colleges in districts. We saw an announcement of 157 nursing colleges in the public sector in this budget. So Ayushman Bharat is Ayushman Bharat is targeted at the poor. It gives them the option of either going to a public facility or to a private facility. And in states like Tamil Nadu, the experience shows very clear, many of them go to the public facility. A lot of the claims in Ayushman Bharat are actually going to the government hospitals. People are choosing the government hospitals because there are certain treatments where you have to pay even in a government system unless you fall in certain categories. So it covers both. It gives the poor a choice. Ayushman Bharat is not for the non-poor. It covers basically the lower income sections of society, but it has not come at the expense of any of our public healthcare outlays.
So this nudge to the new tax system where you tell people you find your own ways to invest, it's a fundamental change in philosophy from a socialistic, paternalistic attitude of previous governments to a more market-oriented approach. So, when did you
I
get a
have no
signal
comments on
about
the
this?
philosophy. I'm only
Did you
involved
get
in
a
the
signal
nuts
about
and
this
bolts.
from the
Sorry?
Prime Minister himself?
Sorry?
Was this driven by the Prime Minister himself? This change?
I wouldn't want to comment on that. We
I got
are
the- I got
supposed
the
to,
answer
we
from
are,
that.
we are civil servants. We don't disclose what happens behind the.
Yeah. So, one last question before I throw it open to the guests here. If you look at the health and education allocations, the revised estimates of last year, this year, are lower than the budgeted estimates. And in case of health, the revised estimate is actually lower than the actuals of last year.
Marginally, yes.
Yeah. So, what explains that?
The ability of the health ministry to execute some of the schemes which have been provided for also depends on the ability of states to provide counterpart funds. And there are many instances where the states have not provided counterpart funds for the centrally sponsored schemes. So the subsequent releases are based on utilization of previous releases. And there have been shortfalls in the utilization of money that's been released. So there are still monies that are sitting with some of the states where the subsequent installments are not being released because the previous installment has not been spent for the intended purpose. So the mere, pumping of money into a scheme doesn't help unless it's actually used for the intended purpose, and we have a system to track whether the money has actually been spent or not. And it can't be spent on anything other than the intended purpose. If they're not spending it on the intended purpose, the next release will not be given. So that's one of the reasons why the revised estimate is lower than the budget. The budget estimate indicates what we have made available. The revised estimate indicates what they've been able to spend.
Okay, there's a takeaway for us in the media to focus more on state budgets and look at how they spend, right? That's important in your allocations as well.